Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in. We are following developing news out of Pierre this midday. Just minutes ago, police released an update on the investigation into the death of a child. The investigation is not complete, but at this point, authorities say they do not believe a crime was committed or that foul play was involved. It's only a matter of time in our part of the country before we once again experience extreme weather that can have dramatic and costly impacts on our communities. With eyes toward that, tonight brings severe weather training at the Washington Pavilion in downtown Sioux Falls. The city, as well as emergency management with Lincoln and Minnehaha counties, are hosting. Anyone can come to the free event beginning at 7 tonight.
Anybody that wants to learn about the severe weather threat, some of the science behind the weather, the spring and summer storms that we have here, if they want to be a storm spotter, they can, at the end of the training, they can register with the National Weather Service and be a storm spotter.
I'll have a longer preview for you coming up tonight on First at 4 on KELOLAND News. Speaking of severe weather, if you missed our spring Doppler special last night, you're in luck. We're going to have an encore presentation that will air again this weekend. You can join us Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, as well as Sunday after the late local news right here on KELO TV. Speaking of weather, today, Adam's tracking some activity on our live Doppler tracking, isn't he?
Yeah, just a little bit out to the west, and that's mainly where everything has been sequestered. And what you see behind me is our wall radar, and that is picking up some light to moderate rain north of Rapid City up toward the Cheyenne River Valley and headed up into the Eagle Butte area. This is the last hour or so. A little bit of mixing in pink trying to be picked up at times, but overall this is coming down as a cold but very dreary rain. And you can see this is extending from areas just north of Belle Fourche in Butte County up into the northern part of Meade County, along the highway to Eagle Butte, and then even down toward Pierre as well, getting in on a little bit of that rain. But beyond that, that is really just about it. As we zoom out and switch to the overall national view, we really don't have much going on, especially near and east of the James River Valley. So if you are East River, you're doing pretty well for yourselves today. There's Falls Park, 51 at the lunch hour with an east wind at 15 miles per hour. It will be a very nice afternoon to get outside, especially East River. Maybe not so much to the west, and again, especially toward the northwestern portion of South Dakota. Speaking of the west, we'll head on over and see what they're doing in Rapid City, and they have more cloud cover out that way. 42, also noticeably cooler with a northeast wind at 8 miles per hour. We're sitting in the 40s through a decent portion of the west, and even a few locations to the southeast getting in on a little bit of that. 49 right now in Yankton with an east wind at 13 miles per hour. So you'll want to maybe have the light jacket for a little while longer, but you won't need it for much longer considering what we have in store later this week. Today, though, highs in the 50s and mid-50s at that for much of our southeastern viewers. To the northeast, low 50s and a couple of upper 40s, not out of the question, with a healthy mix of sun and clouds. And to the west, we'll have 50s, with the exception being where we have that rain continuing to fall up toward Faith, Buffalo, and Bison. You'll be stuck in the 40s. A better chance for rain comes around later this week for everybody. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thank you, Adam. North Dakota's governor signed a law yesterday banning nearly all abortions in that state. The new measure allows abortions only in the first 6 weeks of pregnancy before many women even know that they're pregnant, and only in cases of rape, incest, and medical emergencies. Legislators approved the new law while the North Dakota Supreme Court decides if the state constitution protects abortion rights. Jurors are about to be chosen to hear former advice columnist E. Jean Carroll's claims that former President Donald Trump raped her in the dressing room of a luxury Manhattan department store. Jury selection for the civil case starts today in Manhattan federal court. Carroll says a chance encounter with Trump turned violent 2 decades before he became president. Trump says she fabricated the claim to sell a 2019 memoir. Trump's lawyers have not ruled out the chance he might testify. The likely Democratic nominee for the White House just made it official. Current President Joe Biden is running for re-election. Nicole D'Antonio has details from the White House.
Let's finish this job. I know we can.
President Biden made his re-election bid official in a video released this morning. He says he ran 4 years ago because there was a battle for the soul of the nation, a battle that he says is ongoing.
This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
Ahead of the re-election announcement, a CBS News poll found Democrats were accepting of his re-election bid, with just 22% saying they were excited, with the number one concern among voters being his age. The timing of the announcement is no coincidence. It's 4 years to the day since President Biden first announced his White House bid, but it wasn't the only factor in announcing right now.
The other sort of consideration is you want to get ahead of what might be coming from the other side. I mean, there's more and more Republicans that are starting to get into the race.
Former President Trump is already in the race, setting up a potential rematch of the 2020 election. Trump's Vice President Mike Pence is also in the race, as is former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley.
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would not say when or if he will run, but he did make trips to early battleground states during a book signing tour. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, the White House.
At least one other Democrat has announced his candidacy to run against President Biden. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. launched his bid for the Democratic nomination last week. A new singing group is getting ready for its first performance in June. The Rainbow Chorus of Sioux Falls started rehearsals back in March. The group has about 40 singers.
We sing songs from Broadway, songs from the pop music songbook, as well as spiritual songs as well.
Coming up in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, we're going to tell you what message the chorus is singing to the community.